Good afternoon, everyone. I am the host, Coach Chanel Budd, and I am here today to have a live panel discussion in reference to Selfless. This is a film project that I've been working on for over a year now, and it is actually sponsored by Selfless Love and Active Beat, my nonprofit, and also Canes has sponsored us as well. So thank you to Canes. A little bit about my background. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania originally, and I have been a tenured Dallas resident now, and for over 20 plus years. So I'm excited to be here with you all. I have some phenomenal panelists today, and we're going to be talking about some topics here that are still plaguing our communities as we speak. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic. Please introduce yourself and give us a little bit about your background, and we'll go from there.
How's everyone doing? My name is Tag Showtime. I am a football coach, R&B artist, reality show actor. I do motivational speaking, and yeah. I mean, a little bit of my background. I mean, I was raised in Ferris, Texas, small country town. I'm a country boy, Southern, yeah, very hospitality. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I actually came up a little back my background. I came up in the streets, basically gang environments. Most people don't think that in a small country town like that you wouldn't have drugs, gangs, prostitution, all this other stuff. You wouldn't think you would see something like that in a small town like that, but I'm here to let you know it happens everywhere. It really does happen everywhere. Um, the streets just it was eating me up for a while, so I overcame it, and I'll let y'all know a little bit more out there later. But yes, that's who I am.
Awesome. Well, my name is Aisha Scott. I am the founder of two amazing organizations, Divas Build Futures Incorporated and Her Homes Housing and Resources. DIVA stands for to be a determined, intelligent, virtuous, ambitious girl to young woman, and her means to be healed, empowered, and restored. And so, I first want to just say thank you to God and the Lord above for allowing me this opportunity. And Chanel, thank you so much for just opening this door. It came at the right time. When I say divine appointments, divine time, God makes no mistakes. So that's that. A little bit about my background. So I was born in Gary, Indiana. It's a small town in the Midwest. So I'm a Midwestern girl turned Western girl because I moved to Woodland Hills, California. So I'm kind of a Valley girl, but then I'm a realist. So I have the best of both worlds. And so, I lost my mom at 10 years old, which is my why of why I jumped into, owning my 2 nonprofits because I wanna be the change that we all look for in the community. I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a big cuz, I'm a fiance. So, just I give glory to God. I just can't just be more excited to be here. I stepped out on faith about a week ago, put my 2 weeks notice in, and God's like, "It's time to work." My nonprofit, DBS, turns 10 years old this October. Well, we're here. So it turns 10. So shout out to that, all of my board members, everybody who has supported me along the way and, along this journey. So and I'm also a certified master life coach. So I work with youth as well, girls, helping with poison, posture, and etiquette. So that is who I am.
That was an awesome introduction.
Thank you, sis.
I want to thank God for this opportunity. Every opportunity is not my opportunity, but I thank God and I believe in what you're doing. So thank God to you, Janelle, for seeing something in me to want me to sit on your panel. With that being said, I am Kimberly Caldwell, the founder and executive director of Jules Comfort Keeper. It's a reentry program for men returning from after they've been incarcerated. We now are helping children. Now are helping women, and we're also starting a proactive initiative with youth. Uh, so that is what I do with that. I too am a mother of three amazing children. I'm a friend, a counselor to some, um, but more importantly, I am a servant, and that is what I stand to. That's why I stand to exist in what I do. And born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas, just a little city girl. I tell everybody I'm just a girl from the hood that had a dream and I'm running after it. That's who I am.
Those also.
Yeah, my name is Derek King. Uh, I'm from Bears, Texas, born and raised here in Texas. Uh, I'm a vice president of the football league in Fairs. I've been there for 18 years. My whole mission is just to mentor these kids and just let them know there's things out there that they can achieve, and it's more out there than just the streets. Uh, like my brother here, that's where we came from. Uh, Streets of gang, drugs, and just there's a lot of nonsense. Uh, and that's my why. I'm a father of three. I don't do nothing too major. I just try to mentor the kids and change the community. Give more back to the kids of what we didn't have or what we couldn't get to. That's my why.
Excellent. Thank you so much, you guys. And this is why we are here today. We are here so that we can spread love, education, and empowerment, not only to our youth, but even the adults. And that's where I come in as so the film Selfless is based off of a book called Plan the Hand I Was Dealt. I wrote that book as a healing journal, and that healing journal became used to publish a book. I didn't know it was going to be a book. I thought I was just journaling. And that's what God does, right? And so it sat for like 8 years and something just kept pulling on me to actually publish it, which I did. And now here we are with the film that we're currently working to get into production. So the community aspects and the reason why we're here today is I decided to pull some of the major topics that are plaguing our communities even now. And we are here in the the 2000s, the years of mid 2000s now, right? Still having the same issues. There's a problem. And I never thought that I would be here at 48 years old talking about things that we went through when I was a teenager and that my mom went through when she was a teenager, and that my grandmother went through when she was a teenager. And the same for my father and grandfathers as well, right? So I'm not okay with that. And you shouldn't be either. And so the panelists that I have today are amazing in their own right. They are warriors in their own right. And they're here taking their test, their what they've been through, their test, and they're on the other side. And now they are testimonies for us, right? And for themselves and their legacy. So one of the topics that I wanted to start with was the mental health aspects. And within the mental health aspects, there's layers of that. And childhood trauma is one of them, right? And when we talk about childhood trauma, some childhood trauma is not always physical. It could be psychological as well, right? It could be verbal traumas. And so it could just be seeing something that happened, something that causes, post traumatic stress disorder, right? And so those things and some of the ways that they are here. And so I want to acknowledge that it's real. We get that, right? And the importance of when you're a child, helping that child to get what is needed and not ignoring that, trauma has happened. And we're still fighting for people to speak up about that and to say it's okay. It's okay to speak your truth, right? It's all right. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to speak mine and that gives somebody else permission to do the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic around again as we just did. And I just want us to touch a little bit about like, what that means. What does that mean or look like for you in ways you feel like you were able to shift it if that was something if that's something that affected your life? What ways, did you decide that it was time for you to do something different, or what led you to the wrong way, if that makes sense. So let's start with what led you to make some of the bad decisions and what did you do to change the course of your life?
You wanna go unless the I'm about to, okay. Um, I'll start with I'm gonna say grief because as I said before, I lost my mom at 10 years old. I want to start there because a lot of my challenges came from me not understanding grief because I wasn't taught grief. And so in the Black community, a lot of mental illness gets ignored because you're either called crazy or that's just grandma, auntie, them. That's just how they are. But it's never attacked. It's never addressed. And so what happens is everybody grow up and then this is just normal for them. So one thing God did in my life that has truly blessed me, at first I didn't understand it, was that's how I got to California, is that I was moved from Gary, Indiana to Woodland Hills, California. So my entire environment changed, but I was still grieving. It all wasn't dealt with. Along the way, my aunt who raised me, she got me therapy. I got, in my school, we did like grief huddles and stuff like that. But a lot of times dealing with grief is understanding it. Anytime you deal with any type of trauma, you have to understand it first. You can't deal with it until you identify it. And so my issue was identifying that I was grieving. So along the way, I rebelled. I lied a lot. I told you whatever I wanted you to know about me because I wasn't accepting who I was. And so let's say 16, 17, 18 years old, those were like my toughest teenage years because I was older. And so now I'm the reason in my group, in my friend group. Everybody come to me for answers. I'm happy and joking, but I go home and I cry. I write, I was a journaler. So how I channeled that as a teenager is I played sports. My aunt, she, did the best she could. She did everything she could do to direct my focus to, positive things. I acted on a Disney Channel when I was like 12. And so sports, and the reason why I can understand why it's very important to teach these kids sports, and because it's deeper than just a sport, it's mental, right? So when you're out there and you're telling them they got stuff going on at home, they're dealing with stuff, but you guys are put in place. God put you guys in place so that you guys can actually like lead them. Because I would consider myself a mentor now because of the challenges and things that I've gone through. So carrying that into my 20s was like, whew, hold on, child. Wait a minute. But at the same time, I had to identify. So let's go back to I didn't identify I was grieving until I was 25 years old. I had two kids. So I had 2 kids, a lot of broken relationships, a lot of stuff, right? So when I turned 25, I met a counselor. Off the record now, this was somebody that I worked for. It was a family that I worked for. I've worked in geriatrics nursing for a very long time. That's also a passion of mine, is working with elderly. But she told me, she was like, "Girl, when have you ever dealt with the passing of your mom?" And when she said it, I kind of got aggressive with her. Like, "Who are you? Don't talk about it." And she was like, "Okay, that's grief." So I was able to say, okay, all of that attitude, all of that build up, I was the firecracker. Like, you couldn't look at me wrong. And I was ready to fight, and I grew up with boys. So I'm the only girl on both sides of my family. So I grew up tough. My auntie was tougher. Tough love when I came to Cali. But at the same time, hey, it was what God knew what was best for me. So after that encounter with her, that's when I started to understand that I was grieving this whole time. And that's when I knew I needed to take action and do something about it. So I started to work on myself, whether it was like I isolated myself, which wasn't great, but it was better than what I was doing. It was better. Isolation became better than pretending for me. Because I had to just deal with me. Just be like, girl, you know what? This ain't it. I date a guy and he won't see me no more. Like, it would be a wrap. I would be like, "Okay, thank you for the date," and didn't realize I was hurting people. So, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with the roots because it was creating all these bad stems and all these branches that was, like, being broken off into other people. So, it was a lot of that, and so, my daughter those are my babies were already born, like I said. I was homeless. I had to live in a U-Haul for about 3 weeks until I was able to get on my feet. Got an apartment. Nobody knew this. I had a couple, your people, your friends, and people that you quote unquote trust at the time. They knew, but when I stepped out them doors, honey, I had my hair edges, my kids look great, but deep down inside I was broken. And so God was putting the pieces back together while he was breaking me down. So, and there's more to that, but I just wanted to start there because I wanted to say, like, when I found Jesus, I was not in a church. I grew up in the church. So it wasn't that, it was just that I had to come back to him for myself. I had to have a relationship with him. And when I gained a relationship with him, it was basically at a place where I had to identify, like, okay, this is the problem. He's the answer. So that's where I ran to. And it wasn't easy. Now I went back and forth. The enemy was boxing. Like that's what it is. Like I'm a tough person, but at the same time, I had to make a decision. Like you said earlier, you have to make a choice. And so along the way, things happen. But I'm gonna start. That's gonna be my start, where I started to heal from as a kid, and it took me through my life. I'm 38 now, so I think I did pretty good.
Okay. Um, man, it was so much when I was younger. I mean, what basically started me is that when I was a kid, as a kid, I mean, my dad was around, but he wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? Like he was there, but my dad never set us down and talked to us or told us, "Hey son, this is what a man is supposed to do," or "Hey son, my dad never talked to us about nothing. It was like he was just there. So I never had that father figure to actually come in and show me and teach me how to be a man. So that's when my mom and my dad was going they went through some things when they was together, like, so we would always have to experience that, my mom and my dad arguing or getting into it or whatever so we always had to experience that. So we ended up going to stay with my grandmother. And my grandma, she's a strong woman, very strong, very strong. She's still living to this day. She's I think she was like 80, 83. And I mean, she was a strong, strong woman. It's three of us. It's actually three of us. My oldest brother, he's actually incarcerated right now. He's still trying to fight and trying to find his way to a better, place, or to a place in his life where he know he needs to be or where he has to be. He's struggling with that right now. So I'm praying for that he grasp on, and God puts his head in the right place to get where he needs to be. But that's what actually pushed me to doing what I started doing for as the gangs in the street, because I was looking for that guidance, that father figure, not knowing that wasn't the right example that I needed, but me being in the streets, running with the friends, running with the guys that I was running with, it was cool for them. That was the guys, they was getting the girls, they was getting the money, they was getting the cars. So me seeing that, I'm like, that's what I want. I want to be like that, but not knowing it was a lot came with that, far as getting in trouble, going to jail, losing a lot of friends to the jail, losing a lot of friends to the grave. I mean, like, man, right now, I mean, I could say me and my brother is really pretty much the only one that is not dead or locked up right now. Most of our friends and most of our homies that we grew up with and that was in the gang with us, they mostly locked up or dead. We for 1 minute we was losing them like left and right, left and right. So once I had my son, I mean, I had my first daughter. I had two girls first. My oldest daughter. I just became a grandpa 2 days ago. my first grandchild, you know what I'm saying? She's actually 19. So to me, it's like she's going through a teenage pregnancy. She said, I'm not a kid, I'm grown now. But as 18 and 19, to me, you still a teenager, you still a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, me being the parent I am, because her mom is not like, she's like, she don't know too much either. So I'm trying to be a daddy and a mom, and I know nothing about raising no teenage girl with no baby. So I'm in a struggle with that right now. So once I had my son, and I seen the things that he started doing, he started to mimic me. He started to say what I say. He started to do what I do. I think the thing that really woke me up, one day we went to church. I took him to church with me. And it's a way that, us as gang members, was gang members or Crips or whatever, it's a way that we show each other love. It's a handshake that we have that we show each other. And I used to notice when I go around the homies, or the homies that I was with, I go around and I give them the love, and my son would be following right behind me, doing the exact same thing, you know. Everybody thought it was cool. Hey, look at little cuz, he such and such. Everybody thought it was cool. In my eyes, I thought it was cool too. Not gonna lie, I thought it was cool, but I took him to church one day, and I was talking to the pastor. He came up to me and he said, "How you doing, Dante?" He shake my hand. I said, "How you doing, Pastor?" I said, "This is my son right here. His name is Dante Jr." And my son looked up at the pastor, and my pastor said, "How you doing, son?" You know what my son did? He stuck his C out to the pastor like this. And the pastor was like, "Oh, what is that? What you trying to show me?" I looked down and I'm like, I said, "Oh my God, my son is trying to give the pastor a crip handshake." So I grabbed him. I'm like, I pulled him back. So that at that moment, that opened my eyes and that changed my whole life. And I was like, wait a minute. He's watching my every move. He's doing everything I do. I really want my son to be a part of what I was a part of. Do I really want my son to go through what I went through? So when I see him and then I see the kids that he played with and the little kids around the neighborhood, now it make me think, man, do I want any of these kids to go through what we went through in these streets? Do I want these kids to end up locked up? Do I want them to go to jail? Do I want them to be selling drugs? Do I want them to be robbing and killing people? Like, even, I mean, like when I Man, it was crazy. I mean, it's so much. It was so much that we went through. I could tell you so many different stories and so many things we went through. So many. It's just, but that's really what just made me change. I mean, once I seen my son like that, and then the kids that he was playing with, even my nephew, I started seeing them do that. And I'm like, I got to make a change. It's got to change. It can't keep going like this. It's just gonna lose more lives. Not only gang member lives, but Black lives. Cause you got blue over here fighting red. You know what I'm saying? They not seeing it as black fighting black. They seeing it as colors fighting colors. Nah, we black people. We shouldn't. There's no way. I don't care what color he wear. I don't care what color she wear. There's no way we should be fighting amongst each other. We got to find a way to come together, build this community. So I had to really find out what Crip means. You know what I'm saying? And I had to really start following that. And the pastor always told me, he said, it's not what you are, it's about what you take and what you do with it. So I thought about that and I took the word crip, which it really means community revolution in progress. So I had to really start pushing it. Instead of tearing my community down, we need to build up the community. We need to keep the kids away from this. We need to teach them to be doctors, lawyers, police officers. That's where we need you at. That's the position we need you in. We don't need you behind the bars, because with behind the bars, they control you. You can't even have a free mind in there. You know what I'm saying? You got to think when they want you to think. You got to read what they want you to read when they want you to read. You got to eat when they want you to eat. Like, it was just, so that's what changed me. So that's what changed me.
That's good. So is that where you're like when you were really probably going through situations with your dad? Feel like that. Oh, sorry. When you start going through situations with your dad, do you think that's where your mental health journey started? Which made you go into the gangs and stuff like that. So
I say that's what I was looking for, that father that was gonna tell me or teach me something, or you know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, I used to, as us kids, we watched a lot of TV. Like the kids nowadays, they don't watch no TV. They want to play on the phone, they want to play the games, you know what I'm saying? So we watched a lot of TV. So the TV shows I used to see the fathers, you know, sitting down giving their fatherly advice, or telling them, teaching them something, teaching them how to be a man. I never had that from my father. You know, he was just there. You know, we would come home from school. He's laying on the couch right there. We go outside. We come in from playing. He's still laying on the couch. Wake up in the morning. He never taught us nothing or showed us nothing. You know, anything we learned from our grandmother, a woman, a strong woman, you know what I'm saying? And she tried her best to keep us out of the streets, you know what I'm saying? But we just, us as little as boys, as kids that we wanted to be we felt like that was the popular. Like I say, they was the one getting the cars, the girls, the monies. We wanted to be a part of that, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Wow.
Oh, well, I feel like he just told my life for him. You know, I mean, what, 'cause that was me. When I was young, you know, we're all 2 years apart. So, the things he talked about with my father, I really didn't pay that no mind. You know, my father figures was my brothers. And I looked up to my brothers, and, what they did, I wanted to do. Um, I was out in the streets, seeing them doing it, seeing them selling drugs, seeing them gang banging, and it just looked cool to me. Uh I don't feel like I really experienced a lot of mental issues or anything like that. I mean, but yeah, it was a baby. Yeah, I was a baby. I was a baby. I mean, I grew into it. Yeah. I grew into it, and that's what got me into that position. And and like I say, basically just told my whole life story. Yeah, I'm following behind my brothers right behind us, and that's what got me wanting to be a follower instead of trying to lead. I was trying to follow, and from that point on, that's what I knew to follow, and their friends became as big brothers to me as well. So I'm not just following my real big brothers. I'm following, you know, all his friends, and hey, do this, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do this. And it got us in real bad places, places that we didn't want to be. Today we would think, oh, I never wanted to be in that situation. But back then it was all cool, it was good, and it was fun. It was fun, made to us, it made us look good. Um, all the going to jail. And what brought me out of it is just my son, my kids, my first son. I had my first son. Um, it's kind of a two-way thing to me. It's kind of like a man, being a man, becoming a man, and becoming the provider of a young kid. Um, and that was one of the points that got me to come back to reality, where I got to the point where I really couldn't provide for my son. You know, cause the faster the money come, the faster it's gonna go. And when you get money like that, you don't really put it into things that you need. It's like it mostly goes into the wants, and you don't really think about the needs until it really comes a time where you really need that need, you know. And that's what hit me, and I couldn't provide for my son, and it told me I had to make a different plan. Um, Another thing, when I went to jail, I knew that wasn't the place for me. That was another thing that just really set me off to where I had to make up my mind and do the right thing for me and my family. Uh, Not just me and my immediate family, but you know, my wife. I am married. I've been married since I was 20 years old. We got married straight out of high school. We was in and out, living with friends. Uh, that's that was a rough part of my life. Not having a roof over our heads. Not like I said, not being able to provide for my child, not being able to show him how man is supposed to provide, for his family. Uh, and when it got to that point, it really opened my eyes. I was like, I can't be in the streets doing that. I have to be there for my son because, when you're in the streets, you're not at home a lot, and especially having a son, they look for that. You don't think they looking for it, but they looking for that father figure to lead them and guide them the right way. Um, and that's what brought me out. My kids and my family brought me out. My wife, she's strong. She's she has a lot of faith, in God, and she keeps me motivated. She keeps me going as well. We grew up in the church also. Oh yeah. But we kind of faded away from that, being a part of the streets. We lost our grandfather. He was a pastor, and my grandmother, she was a first lady. When we lost them, wow, it just everything just dropped, and we followed what looked good to our eyes. And I'm glad we went through the lessons because it made me a better person who I am today. And that's what I do with the kids. I'm like him, man. My kids see that, and I hear them hollering, "Cuz this and cuz that." And like say, I don't want my kids to grow up in that. So I had to show him a different way than to just operate with him. I had to show him you operate with, everyone. Uh it's yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm almost emotional just talking about because like we came from a long journey. Have a long way. A long way.
It's all right. So, thank you so much. And this is the reason why we are having this discussion because this is how important it is. And so this morning I was thinking about the year. It hit me in my spirit that this is the year of the prodigal son. That's what came to me this morning. And so as we are talking about some of the things that has happened within the film Selfless, I can relate to both of these gentlemen right here, and I can relate to you all, but I literally can relate to you all, heartfelt deep. Okay. So even for me, I'm a female, and we had a lot of gangs in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as well. We had the Bloods and the Crips and everybody else, and we were Crips as well. Okay. And what I'm saying is to say that era, when that happened, it came from the media. It came from the music, right? It came from them sliding in the drugs. There was a time where we did have two-parent households. A lot of families, even though they were in the low poverty environments and stuff like that, low income environments, there were two household homes. And when they slid in the drugs, the parents were gone. Then you end up seeing the fathers out there, they either touting, they getting high, hustling and touting, whatever way they can get it. In the beer and the liquor stores, every corner on the corner, there's a beer or liquor store. You know, they only giving you for $158 every 2 weeks on food on income if you're on welfare. It was just some horrific times. And so I'm saying all that to say I've lost we have a high school, and they have to have the every year from like 92 to 94 or 91, the 90 to 94, they just have it all out in one because we lost so many people, family and friends, gone. Gone. They're gone. And so this is why it's important. We are their voice. Like we literally, are change makers. And we're here for such a time as this. So I am grateful for you all. My brother suffered a gunshot wound to the face, and he is a survivor. And it happened maybe about 20, I want to say about 22 years ago now. I'm 47 years old. So when I say that I have a daily, heartfelt grief, but love as well. I will never forget where I come from. I am taking responsibility as the big sister because I was the first one to go out and have all the homeboys. I was the girl, along with maybe 2 or 3 other females in our area, and, different age groups and stuff like that, but I was one of the girls. And so my brother watched me, and we're 18 months apart, and I didn't realize he was watching me. It was my homeboys and other people telling me, "Go and get this or go and get that, your brother's watching." So guess what? My brother and my sister and my whole entire family, they're still watching. My obligation is to make sure that they see me doing God's work. So, Kimberly?
Ooh, a lot. Um, mental health. Mental health is so deep in my family. My uncles and aunties, my mother. I didn't have a cute or um, an ideal childhood. I was molested. I was raped. Had a baby at 13. Had an abortion. Got pregnant again on my own. Had a baby at 15. My mother put me out. That's when my journey started. And it was either sink or swim. I didn't know God. Didn't know nothing about him. But I knew I needed to survive for Christian, my son. Um, my resilience, my determination. If you told me I couldn't do something, I would show you I could. I had this baby, raised this baby, um, worked, dropped out of high school because I was determined not to be who my mother was to me. I didn't have a me, so I became that, right? Um, I dropped out of high school, but I went back. 21, I got my high school diploma. I walked. You hear me? I walked and I got my high school diploma because it was important for me to not just tell my child what he needed to do, but to be the example. Um, and I wasn't in gangs or anything like that, but I was angry. I dealt with a lot of mental anguish, depression, anxiety, wanting to commit suicide, didn't think I was good enough, wasn't worthy enough, because the people that were supposed to protect me were the ones that violated me, right? And so I became who I am today, who you sit in front of today, a woman that is resilient, that will serve, that understands that what a man does in a moment, it doesn't define his life, it defines the moment. And too often we're putting periods at the end of people's lives when you should be putting semicolons because people life continue after a mistake, after an issue, after trauma. And that is why I fight so hard for mental health and unresolved trauma and approaching it at a holistic and a person centered. I went back to school and I got my social work degree and I have a minor in Christian counseling because it was important if I was going to serve men that had been hurt. Because I can't teach a man to be a man, but I can speak to the little boy inside the man and help him with his trauma, right? And so that was important to me. But now moving further, where we are now, I'm in the schools in Fort Worth ISD speaking to young boys and young girls and telling them that you can be it, right? It took me 15 years to get a degree that I started, but at 43, I walked the stage getting my bachelor's degree, right? And I started a nonprofit, knew nothing about it. But I did that, and we made it through a pandemic. Because one thing about God, right? If He gives purpose, when He gives purpose, purpose won't die until it's fulfilled. And so you're looking at the evidence of God's purpose being manifested in the earth. And so I didn't deal with a lot of that I've heard, but I dealt with a lot of self torment and mental and all of those things. Right now, currently, our family, my uncle was killed in custody July the 12th, 2024, at the hands of Tarrant County. And he was paranoid schizophrenic. And they charged my uncle with harassing a peace officer. That's why it is important that you understand mental health. Because when you don't, you make premature decisions. You take someone's life when they're already being tormented. I can't imagine my uncle's last moments, but what I will do is I will advocate for him. And I will advocate for anybody that is being unheard and unseen because they have a mental illness. It is important that you learn about it and understand it, because too often we're giving prejudgments about people. Oh, they crazy. They just bipolar. That's not bunny, because you don't know what a person is dealing with and what we do, right? Because I'm going to tell you what depression looks like. Depression looks like this. It looks like getting up, going to work, taking care of your children, taking care of your husband. It looks like all of these things. But the truth of the matter is, we've all been fake at some point. We get up and we do all of these things, and we're sad, we're depressed, everything going wrong. But good morning, good morning, and then you hear R.I.P. Why? Because you missed the moment. Hey, Sarah, I saw you were a little off. Can I help you? We don't do that. We don't check on each other. We don't check temperatures. With my own children, I asked them, what's your number? What's your people number today? Where are you mentally? 1 to 100, where are you? So back to that baby that I had at 15, who is now 28, who has served our country as a Marine, and now working for a Fortune 500 company and doing well. So what I guess the message in all of that for me to share is that it's not how you start. Sure. And don't discount someone's disability. Don't diss someone's ability to do great things, even with their thorn, whatever their thorn is. And that's all I have to say for that.
Hey, that's good. That's good. That's good. Hmm. So I wanted to get into bullying because that is a huge topic that's still going on, and there's two aspects to this bullying thing that I want to touch on. Okay, the first bully is when you're in school and stuff like that, you always got a child that's a bully, or two or three or four. Usually, the bullying is coming from something that is happening at their home that they have no control over. So they go to school angry, right? And they start picking on other children. Well, I didn't like bullies. So um that was where, I would step in because that's one of my pet peeves, and it still is. The other side of bullying is now social media. And the sad part about it is it's adults. It's adults. So, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. As we were saying, what you do and you have children or grandchildren or nieces and nephews and cousins, they're watching. And so, I wanted to touch base on that with you guys, because I just felt like that is very, very important. There's a lot of babies committing suicide. There's a lot of adults who feel like they're not worthy because of somebody else's comment on social media.
I don't too particular indulge when I see people talking about somebody on Facebook, or I'm really kind of like the defender. I mean, I've been that way since I was in school. Anytime I seen somebody bully somebody, I would always step in the middle of them. Even though I was the gangbanger that was in school, I never liked it anybody getting bullied. That's one thing I hated. I hate for somebody to bully somebody. I mean, I even had a friend one time that was my best friend. One of my best friends, I was bullying somebody, and I had to actually beat him up for bullying this kid. And the kid actually was he went through something where he was in school, and you know I think where it was, he was born with only four fingers. And they used to like tease him every day in school. And it was one day I remember going into the bathroom, and he was literally like in there with some glue. He was like literally drinking glue, like he was trying to kill himself. So I asked him, I'm like, Joe, what you doing, man? He said, "I'm just tired of people talking about my hand. It's not my fault. It's such this." So I had to pull him out of there, you know, out of the stall, and he wouldn't even come out the bathroom. He actually just sat there in the bathroom, like, and just, you know, like he didn't know how to handle it. So I was one of the ones. I actually went and took him out the bathroom, and I actually started to hang with him a little bit, and you know, give him some friendship and let him know that, you know, hey, you know, it's gonna be all right, bro. I'm here for you. If nobody's here for you, I'm here for you. I'm your friend. I'm here when you need me. You need to talk, whatever. So yeah, I don't like bullying at all. So
One of your ways would be community,
yes, ma'am.
like connecting. Go ahead, sis.
Well, I have been bullied in my life as a kid. There were some times, but I learned real quick, don't bully me, right? And that wasn't the way either. So I have learned not to teach my daughter that. My daughter has experienced bullying. And initially I was angry. But what I realized, what if, like you said, Chanel, what if those children are receiving that at home? Where do you extend the grace to those children? Because I'm big on let's bring the children together when I go to the schools because I show up. I'm going to show up every time. And let's hide to those dads. Because just because it happened to you, you can change that. Be kind. And I've always taught my children, and I teach all children, be kinder than necessary because you don't know what someone else is experiencing. Because yeah, a little girl may be being nasty or pushing or hitting you, right? But what if that thing is happening? What if she's the child that's being molested or beat or God knows? And so I just say to be kinder than necessary when as it pertains to bullying and seek help. Talk to a trusted adult. Get you some counseling. There are counselors that are available in schools, but there are also community counseling that is free for children. So that's what I would recommend for bullying.
Thank you. That's good. And for the children that are being bullied, it's not okay. So I will not sit here ever and say that it's okay to accept being bullied. You go and you tell a teacher, you tell a parent, you tell someone that will help you, resolve the issue. But it's not okay. And for the bully, it's not okay to bully someone. you know, and it's the same advice. You go and you tell if you need somebody to speak to as far as hearing you, that you feel that will protect you, right? You tell them that there's something that is happening to you or that you're hurting. But it's not okay to take it out on someone else. It's not. Or even think it's cool or do it to feel like you're cool, with groups of friends and things like that. Because again, that can happen that way too. It's not okay.
I would say I think bullying stands for confidence and self-esteem issues. And so the best way to approach, because I work with a lot of girls who they have self-esteem issues, and then I hear about them, through like counselors and stuff. Well, your best, your best girl, she over here talking this and that, the third. And then I have to ask her, like, "Why did you do that? What made you do that?" And she will be like, "Well, I just felt like I need my hair done or I need something, to help me." So she'll make somebody else feel worse because she's not feeling well. So I think that's the stem of bullying. So the best way to do that is show how these young people can have confidence in themselves, be fair, show up, keep your word, and if there's something that you see that can happen, don't always depend on their parents because 'cause they're probably not getting it from home. Don't always depend on mom and dad. If you got a couple dollars and they need a ponytail holder, hey, it won't hurt. I mean, you will like that better than, the policeman coming in here or hearing that they didn't beat up another kid or something. So it's always goes back to that root. You have to dig that root up so that the problem could stop. Because bullying always stems from what's going on at home and what's going on within. So, you know, just do something about it. Stop it at that. Confidence and self-esteem is huge. Social media is a problem. You know, these young girls thinking that they have to be all these celebrities and they're not even all that. That's not even real. And I tell my kids, like, my journey, I had to tell my daughter the other day, like, we have big foreheads in my family. So, that's just something that for real. Like, I had when my daughter, she was like, "I don't have to wear my headband no more." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "'Cause I embrace my forehead." I was like, "Okay, that was a milestone." But I was like, "You had a problem with your forehead?" Like, I didn't even know that. So sometimes you do have to do those checks with your kids, and you do have to be like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's up? Tell me what's going on." They may say nothing for a minute, but just watch them. Watch their attitude, watch their movements, and see where you can be. And you may have to get somebody else to talk to them. So always it'll work. Be present, show up, be on time. I think I'm gonna say this, I'm done. But I saw this TikTok where she said, the mother was saying how her just showing up made a big impact in her baby's life. And so he was walking down the stage and he had this little mug on his face, but when he saw her, he lit up into like a light bulb. And so that was her proud moment to know that she's doing something positive, and that was his proud moment to know that his mom showed up. So show up, be on time. Right? Something like that could make the world of a difference. Yeah, be present.
Me personally, I hate a bully. I can't I can't deal with bully. That's I tell my son every day, man, treat people the way you want to be treated. Uh, I I rather remember to stick up for somebody. Don't just sit around and watch somebody being bullied. I feel like she said, most bully come from low self esteem of themselves. Is they feel like they have to do things to other people to make themselves feel good. Um, and it's not always just from anger. Like you said, you never know what that bully may be going through. Uh, and it takes sometimes you have to sit that bully down as well, and see what he's wrong. Yeah, what's the problem? What that person is going through, and how can we fix the situation? Instead of it's always disciplinary for a bully. It's always disciplinary. It's never let's talk and get down to the bottom of what's really going on, and stuff like that. So that's why I always teach my son, like I said, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you see it going on, step in and say something. Step in, don't just sit back and watch it go on. Um, and that's I hate a bully. I can't hate it. I can't
That's
think of
good.
any. Yeah, it's real terrible because you know that can drive the person that's getting bullied to do some things that I feel like it could go more or less toward mental
Yeah.
mental health.
Yeah, that's yeah, absolutely.
What if that is just a cry for help? Because a lot of
Oh,
times it is
it
a cry
is.
for help. Like, see me, even if it's negative, because any attention is better than
Mhm.
right.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. This was amazing. We are gonna be doing a part 2 because we're gonna, dive into some of the, transformational work, tips and tools that you all can use, like, right now in your homes with your children or family members and even community. And also, I just wanted to touch base again with you all on how important it is to speak up, right? It's okay to speak your truth. Do it in a respectful and humble way, and always speak to somebody that you can trust. I am going to now, you can follow the YouTube channel Selfless Love Talk on YouTube. And also, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me at Chanel Rosebud. And I'm going to go ahead and go and have all my panelists just give you their contact information so that you can follow them as well.
I again, I am Tag Showtime. All platforms, social media, all platform tag Showtime. Instagram, Facebook. Spotify. Like I said, I do music, reality shows. Make sure y'all check out my reality shows coming out. Love in City. It's a reality show based out of Dallas, Texas. We just now started to shoot season. We're gonna start shooting season 2 in November. But y'all can look at it on YouTube right now. It comes on my TV at 12 o'clock at night. You know, they gave us those type of hours, but yeah, it come on at 12 o'clock at night on my TV and Bounce TV. So we're trying to get a better. Like I said, the production wasn't too good for the first season, so that's why I think they kind of gave us that time slot. But the second season is gonna hold a whole lot better. I'm about to drop my new EP coming out next month. Y'all get ready for that. And I'm actually doing a kid song, a motivational kid song right now for kids. We're putting it together right now, so y'all look out for that. I got a lot of stuff coming. And I'm trying to get a community center built in Ferris, Texas for my kids. So if anybody out there know how to write a grant, if y'all know anybody that want to donate or help me out in some kind of way, I've been trying to get this done for 2 or 3 years, and I can't find the right sources I need. So please tap in on me on Facebook, Instagram, any kind of help. The kids down there don't have not too much to do, nowhere to go. That's why we do the sports that we do, to try to keep them involved in something every day, all year long. I'm not giving you no time to get in trouble. I'm not giving you no time to get in the streets, okay? I'm on your neck at school, everything. Straight A's, okay? We got you.
That's super dope. You can find me on social media, Aisha Scott. I am on TikTok, House of Her. My Instagram platforms is Miss Aisha Scott, Divas Build Futures Inc., and Her Homes LLC. You can find me on TikTok. My TikTok, House of Her. Okay. Check out my website, www.her-homes.org. We will be relaunching our dream campaign, which we are purchasing 20 acres of land. Wherever God is going to take us. I'm here to follow God's mission. I was rerouted these last couple months, but I'm back on task. So we are getting ready to launch a few youth programs out in Anna and Melissa. And all of Collin County, we work with young people. So just stay tuned, follow us, support, like, share, follow, like the kids say, like, share, follow, support.
You can find Jules Comfort Keeper on Facebook, on Instagram. Our website is that I'm proud of because I created it myself. It's www.julescomfortkeeper.us.
You can find me on Facebook as Derek King. That's it. I really. You can also find my youth organization on Facebook, Ferris Youth Sports Association. You can go on there and check out some of the games, some highlights of the kids that hey, we putting in some work out there on that video. On there you can check out the schedule if you want to support us or anything like that. Ferris Youth Sports Association.
And we trying to get our own Little League football field in Ferris too. So yeah, we trying to get it. We trying to push it down there.
The Selfless Love panel discussion for today, and we will be back for a part 2, so stay tuned. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Selfless Love Talk. Thank you.
In your eyes, I find my home, a sanctuary.
I'd like to give a special thanks to Raising Cane's for sponsoring this podcast. Our amazing host, Chanel Budd, along with our special guests, Tag Showtime, Derek King, Kimberly Caldwell, and Asia Scott, have made this experience incredible. A huge shout out to the crew, Tim Russell, Shamya Clem, Marcus R. Lucas, and the Act Out Media Network for all their hard work and dedication. A heartfelt thanks as well to Andrew Willis for your support and contributions. Make sure to check out Selfless Love and Active Beats. Let's work together to bring Selfless to life and complete this awesome film. Your support makes all the difference. Let's make it happen.
With every tender touch, it's a brand new day. Yeah, yeah. Your love's a treasure, I truly believe. In the quiet nights, whispers call my name. Every heartbeat, nothing feels the same. Wrapped in your embrace, time's a gentle flow in this dance of heart.